So today we added our last exponent rule. So if you remember the acronym name, it will help you with your exponents. So we added in the exponents to exponents rule, which is where if we add x to the second to the fourth power, then our exponent to exponent rule says we multiply those together and we get x to the eighth. If we're multiplying, like x to the second times x to the third, we add our exponents, which would be x to the fifth. And the same thing is true if we're dividing, we subtract our exponents. And then if we're adding or subtracting, then we do absolutely nothing to our exponents. Remember, these rules only apply to exponents. They do not apply to our coefficients. And our bases, which our bases are the variable with, or the letter with the exponent attached to it, those do not change. Those bases do not change. So I have 12x squared y to the third divided by 3x to the fourth y to the fifth. When we do these, the first thing we want to do is we want to simplify them, because think about your rules of PEMDAS. So PEMDAS says you take care of what's inside the parentheses first. So we need to take care of all of this in here. So I look at my numbers. I have 12 divided by 3. 12 divided by 3 is going to give me 4. So I took 12 divided by 3 and I got that. For my x's, I have x squared divided by x to the fourth. Well, there's more x's on bottom and I'm dividing, so I want to subtract those. And then for my y's, I have y to the third divided by y to the fifth. Again, there's more y's on bottom, so I'm going to leave it there and I want to subtract them. And I still have, don't forget, all of this is in parentheses with the third power. So continuing to simplify just to make this a little bit prettier, I have 4 over, this is now x to the second, y to the second. And all of this is raised to the third power. So with exponents to exponents, remember, I distribute my exponents in, the exponent on the outside in. So I'm going to give this 4 an exponent of 1 so that it will help me remember what I'm doing. So I'm going to distribute this in. Well, 1 times 3 is going to give me 4 to the third. And I distribute the 3 to the 2 in the denominator. So x times 2 is going to give me 2 times 3 is going to give me x to the sixth. And I distribute my 3 to the 2 with the y. And 2 times 3 again is going to give me 6. The only thing I can do is 4 to the third is actually 64. X to the sixth over x to the sixth, y to the sixth. So this would be my final answer. So I have another problem where, notice I have a negative sign here. So negative means that it's unhappy. Well, because this -2 goes to the whole thing, every bit of this is unhappy. That means we've got to flip all of it. So it's going to become 5y cubed over 3x to the seventh. And now it has a positive exponent of 2. And I can distribute that exponent in. So I'm going to go ahead and give my coefficients an exponent because they don't have one, just to help me out. So 2 times 1 is going to give me 5 squared. 2 times 3 is going to give me y to the sixth. 2 times 1 is going to give me 3 squared. 2 times 7 is going to give me x to the 14th. Now I can go ahead and take care of these numbers because 5 squared is really 25. And then I'll still have y to the sixth, and 3 squared is really 9. So I'll have an x to the 14th, and that would be my final answer. Our last problem, we've got a lot going on here. We've got some negative exponents inside. We've got to combine some things. So we're going to start with what's inside our parentheses. So if we look at the first one, well, my 4 is okay because it's positive. My x to the negative second, it needs to go on bottom because it's unhappy. My y to the third is good because it's on top and it's happy. In the denominator, I still have a 3, and this is an x. Doesn't look like it, but it is. And then x squared, and it's happy, so it needs to stay there. So I'm going to go ahead and finish simplifying this parentheses. So I can combine my x squared and my x squared together. I can add those exponents because I'm multiplying them, so I add them. So that gives me 3x to the fourth. Remember, I did 2 plus 2. That's where I got that 4 from. And I still have my squared that's outside this parentheses. So that one's simplified. Now to simplify the other side, well, I know that y to the 0 is going to equal 1 because anything to the 0 power is 1. And then I have this fraction, 2 over 4, so I have my numbers. I can go ahead and divide those. So 2 over 4 is going to give me 1 over 2 if I reduce that. My y to the 0 becomes 1, so I don't have that on top, but I still have y to the third in the denominator. And remember, I'm multiplying these two together. Now on the left side, in that first parentheses, I can distribute this exponent in. There's a 1 there. So I'm distributing all those. So it's going to be 4 to the second times y to the 6th. Remember, I multiply my exponents. I have a 1 with that 3, so I'm going to do 3 to the second now, and then x to the 8th. I still have 1 over 2y cubed on the right side, so I'm going to leave that alone. And if I start just working everything out, well, 4 squared is going to give me 16. Since I'm multiplying these two fractions together, I can go ahead and multiply the tops. And there's just a 1 over here, so y squared times y to the 6th times 1 is just going to give me y to the 6th. So I'm going to have y to the 6th on top. On bottom, this 3 squared is really 9, but if I multiply this 9 by this 2, I'm going to get 18. And then I have x to the 8th on bottom and y to the 3rd on bottom. I'm almost done. I have one more step left because I can also simplify this y to the 6th and y to the 3rd. So because I'm dividing, I need to subtract my exponents. And I'm going to do y to the 6th minus 3 on top, x to the 8th on bottom, and I still have my 16 over 18. We're going to simplify that as well. So my 16 over 18, I can divide both those by 2, and I'm going to get 8 over 9. 6 minus 3 is going to be y to the 3rd, and I still have my x to the 8 in my denominator. So that's going to be my final answer.